Ethan's heels clicked against the polished floor of the high school gymnasium, echoing like gunshots in the suddenly silent room. Every whisper, every glance, felt like a blade. He didn't flinch. 15 years had turned the skinny, nervous teenager into a man who commanded attention without needing to speak. He scanned the room, his eyes immediately finding Derek Holloway, smug as ever, flanked by Logan and Trent, whispering and gesturing toward the projector. The air smelled of polished wood and expensive perfume, but underneath it all, tension simmered. Maya, hidden in the corner near the refreshments table, tightened her grip on her coffee cup. She had known Derek was planning something. The private investigator she hired had been watching him for weeks, and tonight's reunion wasn't just about old classmates catching up, it was a battlefield. Derek's plan was simple. Humiliate Ethan with the old high school prank flashback on the projector, then plant something in Ethan's bag to make it look like he was trying to cheat or steal at the reunion. Derek hated the fact that Ethan had become a billionaire, a man who could walk into any room and command respect. Maya's lips curved into a quiet smile. She had anticipated every move. She didn't need to tell Ethan. Letting him think he was stepping into a regular reunion would make the moment even sweeter. Ethan approached the stage area, where the principal's voice droned about the joys of reconnections. And now, a look back at our senior year. Derek's voice cut through, too loud, too smug. Ethan stiffened, realizing exactly what was about to happen. The projector flickered to life. "Watch closely," Derek muttered to Logan and Trent. "This is going to remind everyone of who he really was." The first image appeared. Ethan's stomach tightened. Not the letters, not the laughter, not the banner. But instead of his teenage humiliation, the projector flickered to a new set of images. Derek, in his office, counting envelopes of cash with a panicked assistant. Derek accepting bribes from contractors. Derek smiling in photos while hiding documents and shady transactions. Each slide hit like a hammer. The crowd gasped. Whispers grew to murmurs. Murmurs to murmurs of awe. "Is that him?" someone muttered. "I can't believe it." Derek's face twisted in disbelief as the projector continued exposing every secret he thought was buried. "Stop this. That's private," he yelled. He realized too late what was happening. The private investigator had given Maya the images and slides of Derek's recent corrupt activities. Maya had arranged for them to play instead of Ethan's old humiliation. Derek's own actions, his arrogance, his greed, all undeniable, were on display. Logan and Trent looked at each other, frozen. Even they hadn't anticipated this level of exposure. Phones were out, cameras flashing, murmurs of shock rippling through the crowd. Maya, still in her corner, sipped her coffee and whispered to herself, "Step 1 complete." Ethan didn't move. He didn't need to. He simply watched, calm, letting the truth speak for itself. Derek had spent so long trying to control the narrative of his life, but the images, the evidence, the reality of his greed, all undeniable, rendered him powerless. Derek's eyes darted toward Ethan. You. He spat, his anger mixing with panic. "This isn't fair." Ethan finally stepped forward, voice steady, cutting through the tension. "Life rarely is fair, Derek. But honesty? Honesty always has a way of showing itself." His gaze didn't falter. "Tonight, the truth is just catching up with you." The murmurs shifted into whispers of awe. Classmates who had once laughed at Ethan now watched him with admiration. He didn't need to brag, didn't need to gloat. His calm composure and dignity said it all. Derek's own company executives, attending the reunion without prior knowledge of his plans, leaned forward in shock as the slides continued. Their faces hardened, whispers turning into action. The authorities and company officials quietly approached him, asking questions, showing documents, referencing the images playing on the projector. Derek's jaw tightened as he realized there was no escape. You set me up," Derek hissed, spinning toward Maya. But she had already stepped back, blending into the crowd, her expression calm, almost indifferent. Ethan finally turned to Maya. "Did you?" he asked softly, awe and amusement in his tone. Maya only smiled faintly. "I knew if I told you, you might act differently. I wanted you to experience it naturally." Ethan shook his head, impressed. "You're incredible." "Not incredible," she replied. "Careful. Strategic. Necessary." The crowd's attention shifted again as Derek's own company people began investigating him on the spot. Phones recorded every detail, whispers spread, murmurs of disapproval grew louder. Derek, once so sure of his dominance, faltered under the weight of his own misdeeds. Ethan watched quietly, his heart steady. He didn't need revenge. He didn't need to humiliate Derek personally. Watching the universe handle it, guided silently by Maya, was more than enough. Ethan finally spoke, calm, his voice carrying across the gymnasium. I didn't come here to fight anyone. I came to reconnect. But it seems some things need no intervention. His eyes briefly met Derek's. The truth has a way of showing itself, doesn't it? The room fell silent. Derek gaped. Logan muttered, He's not even angry. Trent leaned in. This is worse than anything we could have planned. Ethan turned back to the crowd, almost apologetically. I'm not here to gloat. I came home. But maybe this is a reminder. Actions have consequences. The murmurs grew into whispers of approval. Finally, justice. Good, he deserves that. Derek attempted to storm forward, rage boiling, but the authorities and company officials had already moved toward him. He was trapped in his own web, unable to maneuver. His face paled as whispers of his corruption spread. Ethan remained calm, observing from a distance. He had no need for revenge. The universe had handled it for him, and Maya had simply made sure it landed perfectly. Later, when the projector finally went dark, Ethan approached Maya. The gymnasium was still buzzing, but for them, a quiet moment existed amid the chaos. The night continued, the crowd gradually shifting to regular chatter, oblivious to the meticulous orchestration that had taken place. Derek's arrogance was gone, replaced with shame. Ethan's dignity and strength shone, and Maya's quiet genius had orchestrated the perfect ending. Ethan turned to Maya, voice low and warm. I don't know how to thank you for tonight. You don't need to, she replied, smiling. Just keep being you. I ensured the truth got its moment, Maya said, matching his tone. And some lessons are better learned quietly. Ethan laughed softly. I guess I'll never fully understand your genius. You'll understand when it's your turn to watch someone try to underestimate you, she teased. He shook his head, smiling. You made it look effortless. I can't believe Derek thought he could still control anything. Maya's lips curved in satisfaction. He thought he could. He never anticipated someone quietly prepared. Ethan's expression softened. You think I could ever repay you? She tilted her head, her eyes sparkling. By being calm in the chaos. That's enough payment. The murmur of the crowd grew behind them. People whispered about Derek, about the shocking exposure, about Ethan's dignity. But neither of them noticed. All that existed was the quiet understanding forming between them. Maya glanced at him, half smiling. Coffee? She asked, teasing. We've survived enough drama for one night. Ethan grinned. You read my mind. I think we earned it. They walked to a quieter corner outside the gymnasium. Their hands brushed. Their laughter mingled as they recalled old memories and relived small teenage awkwardness in a new light. The tension of years of humiliation, anger, and uncertainty melted into connection and warmth. Ethan stopped, looking at her seriously. Maya, I don't just admire you. He paused, catching himself, but his eyes held honesty and longing. She met his gaze, heart racing. I know, she said softly, and I feel the same. A quiet understanding passed between them. Derek slunk away, defeated, his arrogance shattered, his reputation tarnished. Ethan and Maya, however, walked side by side, their laughter light, their smiles genuine. Ethan reached for her hand, fingers intertwining naturally. I guess some reunions aren't just about the past. They're about new beginnings, she replied. He looked at her, eyes soft. Then let's start our new beginning together. She laughed softly, shaking her head. You're bold. I'm bold enough to know what's worth it, he said, pulling her closer. For the first time in years, Ethan felt the past's weight lift completely. The humiliation, the pain, the anger, it no longer mattered. What mattered was here, with Maya, a quiet brilliance, cleverness, and courage that had changed everything tonight. They stopped at a small cafe nearby, the night calm around them. Ethan smiled. Coffee, and maybe a long conversation about how you outsmarted everyone tonight. Maya grinned, eyes twinkling. Only if you promise to stay out of trouble. He leaned closer. I can do that if you promise to keep saving me from people like Derek. She laughed, brushing her hair back. I'll always have a plan. Quietly, strategically. For you. The warmth between them deepened as they sat, coffee in hand, talking, laughing, sharing, and finally letting the past rest. The battle was over, the past was conquered, and the future stretched wide before them. If you loved Ethan and Maya's story, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more thrilling twists and heartwarming endings. Which part did you love the most? Who impressed you more, Ethan or Maya?